Indian rookie Alec Cole stole his ninth consecutive base. Jerry Brown would deliver him with this shot in the left center field gap. This run-scoring double scored Alec Cole from second base. Brown is thrown out on a nice relay play from Alvaro Espinosa to Jim Leyritz. Brown trying to stretch a double into a triple, but he gets the RBI. Indians lead it 1-0. In the bottom of the first inning, Jerry Brown would play a role in the Yankees tying the game. Oscar Azokar at the plate. He would hit this hard ground ball. Jerry Brown would come up with it, but he would boot it with his knee. That allowed Jim Leyritz, who had walked earlier in the inning, to go over to third. Azokar went into second base. Yankees had runners in scoring position. Tom Candiotti on the mound, still in the bottom of the first inning, pitching to Mel Hall. This knuckleball would get away from catcher Joel Skinner. It allowed Jim Leyritz to score. Games tied at 1 apiece. In the top of the sixth inning, Yankees leading 2-1. Brooke Jacoby would single to left center field. It would score Jerry Brown. RBI number 48 for Brooke Jacoby. Indians tied the game at 2. In the top of the seventh inning, Alex Cole would steal his 10th consecutive base, tying a record for stolen bases in consecutive games. Chris James would deliver him. Cole would score. James goes into second with a double. Indians lead it 3-2 in the seventh. Indian pitcher Tom Candiotti on the mound. Though the Yankees had scored 2 runs, they had not gotten a hit. Candiotti pitching a no-hitter through 7 innings. Here he strikes out Mel Hall. In the bottom of the 8th inning, Indians leading 4-2. Oscar Azokar would get the first Yankee hit of the game. An RBI single. It would score Steve Sachs. Yankees trail 4-3. Indian manager John McNamara would remove Tom Candiotti and bring in reliever Doug Jones. Jones pitching to Mel Hall with 2 runners on in the bottom of the 8th inning. Hall would hit this 3-run shot into the upper deck. Hall's 10th home run of the season gives the Yankees a 6-4 lead. The Yankees would win the game 6-4. Lee Guterman got the win. His record goes to 7-4. Tom Candiotti goes to 11-7.
Montreal Expos in the bottom of the first. Mark Grace would put the Cubs on the board first with his 2-run double. It comes off Expos starter Mark Gardner, and it would drive in Jerome Walton and Ryan Sandberg. Chicago with a 2-0 lead. After an RBI single by Luis Salazar and then an RBI double by Sean Dunston, make it 4-0 Cubs. It would be pitcher Mike Harkey who would help out his own cause as he doubles down the left field line. And this would drive in Dunston and Joe Girardi, and the Cubs score 6 times in the bottom of the first as they jump all over the Expos 6-0. Then in the bottom of the second, a close call as Andre Dawson fouls this ball off his leg and suffers a knee bruise. He'd leave the game, and his status listed as day-to-day. Moving on to action in the top of the sixth, Larry Walker bats for the Expos. The score now 9-2. Earlier, teammate Jerry Goff hit a solo home run, and this time Walker hits a 2-run home run, his 12th of the year. This comes off Harkey, and it makes it 9-4 Expos, trailing the Cubs. Larry Walker a 2-run blast, and the Cubs increase their lead to 10-4. In the bottom of the sixth, Luis Salazar hits this solo home run, his 9th of the year. And through 6 innings, Chicago holds a 10-4 advantage over Montreal.
And that would be the final in this one as Mike Harkey becomes the first Cubs rookie pitcher to win 10 games since 1972 when Rick Russell did it. Here he ends the 4th inning by striking out Galarraga, the final 10-4 Cubs.
Friday night baseball action from the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The Pittsburgh Pirates visiting the Philadelphia Phillies. Pick it up in the top of the first inning. Jeff King, the batter. After a left-hander, Bruce Ruffin had walked Gary Reedus and Andy Van Slyke. Jeff King would then triple into the right center field gap. It would get under the glove of Philly right fielder Von Hayes. Reedus and Van Slyke would score. RBIs 24 and 25 for Jeff King. Pirates lead early 2-0. The Pirates were piling on early and often in this one. Pirate first baseman Sid Breen, the batter. We're still in the top of the first inning. Breen would single into right center field. It would score Barry Bonds from third base. Pirates lead it after 1 inning, 3-0. RBI number 46 for Sid Breen. We go down to the top of the third inning. Pirates leading 7-0. Andy Van Slyke, the batter. Van Slyke would double down the line in left field. It would score Jose Lean from second base. Van Slyke's 48th RBI of the season. Pirates lead it 8-0. Curious stat for Andy Van Slyke: when Doug Drabeck's on the mound, Van Slyke is hitting .432. Philly fanatic in the stands trying to entertain their fans as their home team is getting bombarded 11-0. Doug Drabeck working on a no-hitter through 8 innings. Here he strikes out Vaughn Hayes. In the bottom of the 8th inning, Drabeck, still working on the no-hitter, gets some defensive help from Pirate second baseman Jose Lean. John Kruk, the batter. Kruk hits this hard ground ball. Lean comes up with the diving stop and throw to preserve Drabeck's no-hitter. Here's another look at the play. Kruk with the hard shot, Lean with the diving stop and throw for the out. We move to the bottom of the 9th inning. Drabeck still pitching a no-hitter with 2 men out. Sil Capizano with single into right center field to break up Drabeck's no-hitter. Over 8 2/3 innings, Drabeck gave up 1 hit and allowed 2 Philly players to get on base. Drabeck would come back. He would get the next batter, Darren Dalton, to fly out to right field. Drabeck pitching a 1-hitter as the Pirates beat the Phillies 11-0. Drabeck gets the win. He's 14-4. Bruce Ruffin is the loser. He's 6-11.
Friday night from Baltimore, the Orioles host the Kansas City Royals. Pick it up in the top of the first inning. This is Randy Milligan, and his bat goes flying into the crowd. Luckily, no one was hurt on this play. As we'll see, a lucky fan would get the bat. The bad news is the fan wouldn't keep the bat. Randy Milligan would want it back. Moving now to the bottom of the first inning, the Orioles would be the team with the hot bats Friday evening. Here, Cal Ripken Jr. with 2 men on base will belt a 3-run homer to left field off of Tom Flash Gordon of the Kansas City Royals. Ripken's 12th home run of the year, RBIs number 59, 60, and 61. Baltimore led 3-0 after 1 inning. But the Baltimore onslaught wouldn't stop there. Moving to the bottom of the second inning, this is Joe Orsulak at the plate. He'll belt a 2-run homer to right field, his 10th home run of the year. RBIs number 49 and 50 for Orsulak. This gave Baltimore a 5-0 lead after 2 innings. Then in the third inning, the Orioles would score 3 more runs. Sam Horn would get into the act. Here he'll belt a solo home run to left field, his 9th home run of the year. This gave Baltimore a 6-0 lead. The home run by Horn was another one given up by Tom Flash Gordon, the runner-up in the Rookie of the Year voting last year. The next batter in the bottom of the third inning for the Orioles, Cal Ripken Jr. He'll belt a solo home run to left field, his 2nd home run of the game, his 13th of the year. He had 4 RBIs in this game. This gave Baltimore a 7-0 lead. The Orioles picked up 1 more run in the bottom of the third and led 8-0 after 3 innings. The beneficiary of all these runs, starting pitcher John Mitchell of the Orioles. Here in the top of the 6th inning, he strikes out Willie Wilson to end the inning. Moving now to the bottom of the 6th inning, the Orioles leading 11-1. And what happens in a blowout? A fight, of course. Steve Crawford nails Brady Anderson. Anderson charges the mound, but Mike McFarland tackles him. But the bench is empty, and there's Steve Crawford in the middle of it. Brady Anderson would be thrown out of the game for charging the mound. Steve Crawford, however, would be able to stay in the game. Now we'll get a shot of Steve Crawford here being held back by Sam Horn and Joe Orsulak of the Orioles. And there's Frank Robinson scolding Kevin Seitzer of the Kansas City Royals. The Baltimore manager obviously unhappy with Kevin Seitzer. Then in the top of the 7th inning, the Orioles would retaliate. John Mitchell would try to throw at Kevin Seitzer. The ball misses Seitzer. Seitzer mildly charges the mound. That's Steve Crawford leading the Royals out of the dugout. There are no punches thrown in this second fight, just a lot of mean looks. The result of this little skirmish, John Mitchell was thrown out of the game. He joined Brady Anderson in the clubhouse, but the Orioles would win 14-1.
In baseball news, well, they finally did it. After talking trade, every trading deadline, The Atlanta Braves on Friday traded longtime star Dale Murphy and a player to be named later to the Philadelphia Phillies for pitcher Jeff Parrott and 2 players to be named later. Murphy, who was to become a free agent at the end of the season, was not in the starting lineup for Atlanta's 3-0 loss to Houston on Friday night. No contract details were announced, but the Phillies were holding a press conference at Veterans Stadium on Friday night. Murphy, a 2-time National League MVP and 5-time Gold Glove winner, was the Braves' first-round pick and the 5th player selected in the 1974 draft. He was in his 13th season with the Braves and ranks among the all-time leaders with 371 home runs and 1,147 RBIs. The 34-year-old Murphy joined Ernie Banks, Joe Morgan, and Mike Schmidt as the only NL players to win back-to-back MVP awards in 1982 and 1983. Coming over to Atlanta will be 28-year-old Jeff Parrott, who was in his 4th Major League season. He spent 3 seasons with the Montreal Expos, but then they traded him to Philadelphia along with Floyd Yeomans for Kevin Gross in December of 1988. Parrott is 35-25 lifetime with a 3.71 ERA.
What does Dale bring to the club? Why did you make the trade?
We all know that we need a 4th place hitter. I still think Ricky Jordan is going to be a pretty good hitter for us as we go along here, but we don't want to rush him. Dale Murphy will come in here, I think, and do what Nick needs as a 4th place hitter. I still think he has a lot of baseball left in him. We're very, very happy to have him.
First of all, I hate to lose a pitcher with the quality of Jeff Parrott because I feel that Jeff Parrott did an outstanding job for us. Last year he was tremendous. He was tied for our team lead in victories, and he just anything I asked Jeff to do last year, he just did. He still has a good arm, but I think the way that Darryl Ackersfeld has pitched this year, the way now getting Joe Baber, I think he was one of the guys that we could afford to let go. And when you get a quality player like a Dale Murphy, not only Dale Murphy, we're looking for a number 4 hitter, but he's also a quality outfielder. He's just a quality individual. I mean, I've never heard one bad thing said about this man. And he's a class act, and it's good to have those kind of people coming over here to Philadelphia.
Do you think you now have a home run hitter that you've needed?
Well, Dale's always like to hit in this ballpark. We've got the type of ballpark that those long fly balls that Dale Murphy hits will be in the seats, will reach the seats. So, we're excited about having a guy that can possibly hit 25 to 30 home runs for us. We haven't had that here since Mike retired, and, it's good to have a guy like that back in our lineup.
On Saturday night in Arlington, Texas, Toronto Blue Jays are in town to take on the Texas Rangers. Cito Gaston trying to rally his troops, and in the top of the 3rd, Kelly Gruber would hit a sacrifice fly to right field. Ruben Sierra under it would make the catch and fire home, but Mookie Wilson would tag up and score, and that would give the Blue Jays a 1-0 lead early. For Gruber, that was RBI number 78 on the season. Texas part owner George Bush Jr. was on hand tonight to watch his team, and in the bottom of the 5th, off Toronto pitcher David Wells, Rafael Palmeiro will hit this line shot down the first base line. Ball will roll into the corner, and Julio Franco will round 3rd and come in to score. This will give Texas a 2-1 lead. For Palmeiro, it'll be RBI number 64, tying his career high. Here in the bottom of the 7th, Cito Gaston trying to fire up his troops would get thrown out arguing with home plate umpire Dale Scott, but this would come to no avail because in the bottom of the inning with 1 out and bases full of Rangers, Steve Bichelle would step up and drill his first career grand slam to deep left field off Toronto pitcher Jim Acker. For Bichelle, that would be home run number 5 on the season to go along with 22 RBIs. Bichelle would be congratulated home plate by his teammates, and here's another look of Bichelle's home run swing. And here in the top of the 9th, Texas pitcher Jamie Moyer would go the distance, would strike out Fred McGriff for the final out. Texas would go on to beat Toronto 9-1. Jamie Moyer gets the win. He's 1-3. David Wells takes the loss. He's now